Right now, school leaders are urging lawmakers for funding and tax relief. More on what funding in their districts could mean in the future.
And it was a quiet start to the work week, but we got some snow chances before we finally wrap up February. Details in the full forecast. And later, President Trump doubling down on tariffs, what some Wisconsin farmers are saying about how the president's reaction could impact them. And we welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. In the news today, the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction officially declared this Public Schools Week, all while questions regarding funding continue.
Our Maya Tate has more on how this affects school districts. Maya?
Well, Eric and Sarah, this week Wisconsin is recognizing and honoring everyone who works in education. And it comes at a time when support for schools is under increased debate. Right now, Governor Tony Evers and the legislature seem to be at a standstill with how to move forward. The governor's $1.3 billion proposal includes more money for public schools, along with property tax relief.
Schools are the hub of the community. They need to know, and we need to be able to count on their state government to deliver that predictable and sustainable funding.
Portage school leader Joshua Sween says that there was no increase in state aid to schools during the last budget season.
This is the first time in 30 plus years that anybody can remember a $0 increase to state aid.
He says that local districts are concerned about having to ask taxpayers to vote yes on what he calls never-ending referendums.
If you have a no vote on an operational referendum, it's pretty catastrophic for a school district to not have that money. And that means budget reductions and cuts to programming services and staffing.
Local school districts are hoping for a bipartisan compromise.
I don't think that educating our youth is a partisan issue. Everybody wants our schools to succeed. Everybody wants our kids to do as well as they possibly can.
The assembly session ended last Friday without finishing this conversation. School leaders say the school budget issue is similar to what families are facing, saying they both still need to put food on the table and keep the lights on. But with rising inflation and no increased budget, they can't always keep up.
All right, Maya, thank you. The Dane County Sheriff's Office investigating a shooting that sent a man to the hospital. Now, this happened in the town of Blooming Grove on Gannon Avenue. It was about 7:20 last night. Now, according to the Sheriff's Office, a 24-year-old man was driving south when a sedan sped up behind him. When the man started to turn onto Fury Avenue, he was hit by gunfire and crashed his vehicle. The men then got out and ran to a nearby home of an acquaintance who called 911. That man was taken to UW Hospital. Now, if you have any information or video evidence of what happened here, you are urged to call Madison Area Crime Stoppers.
One person has been arrested in connection with a Walworth County death investigation. The sheriff's department there says it happened Saturday night in Elkhorn. Deputies responded to a disturbance call near Pine Court and Balsam Drive near the Evergreen Golf Club. First responders say 2 men were injured during this fight. Authorities later found a 62-year-old woman dead inside the home. Investigators have not released how the woman died or identified the person arrested. The sheriff's department says this appears to be an isolated incident.
A teenager is in custody in connection to a stabbing on Madison's west side. Officers were called to Grand Canyon Drive near the Beltline last night. This was just after 8 o'clock. And when they got there, a suspect was seen running from a building. That 17-year-old was arrested for first-degree recklessly endangering safety. Now, according to police, the victim says he was stabbed when he saw the suspect and another person arguing and tried to intervene. Police treated the victim's injury. He was taken to the hospital. The injuries are considered non-life-threatening.
One man is in police custody right now after a standoff at a hotel this afternoon. Officers were sent to Hayes Road at about 2:10 p.m. They say the person inside is accused of beating a woman earlier today. At about 4:30, a News 3 Now cameraman spotted police taking a man away in a squad car. We will bring you updates on this story when they become available on News 3 Now at 10 and also channel3000.com.
Well, cooler today. The sun was out, but a wintry mix is on the way. And Blaze Keller's back with the latest on the timing of all this across southern Wisconsin. Blaze?
That's right. It was a quiet but cooler start to the final week of February. We're going to settle into those mid-teens tonight underneath increasing cloud cover because we have to get ready, for that snow that we're expecting on Tuesday. So let's time it out on Future Track. Maybe a few flurries as we're waking up Tuesday morning, but I would say the best chance for any real snow is going to be as we head into the late morning hours hours to at least the early evening. It may impact some of our evening commute, at least earlier on in the commute time frame, but most of this will be out of here by about 5, 6, maybe as late as 7 o'clock. And we're not expecting much in the way of snow with this, because at some points it is going to turn over to a rain-snow mix as temperatures climb into the upper 30s to the low 40s. So we will watch as that mix moves in for the second half of Tuesday. But that's not the only chance we have for, at the very least, a wintry mix. We're timing out another chance in the full forecast.
All right, thank you, Blaze. In other news right now, a family is without their home after a fire on Madison's southeast side. Firefighters were called to Valor Way Sunday afternoon for reports of fire. When they arrived, flames could be seen coming from inside the home. Luckily, no one was in at the time, and crews were able to put out the fire before going inside. One dog was found and released into the care of some neighbors. No word yet on a cause.
Police are investigating after a rollover crash on Madison's southwest side happened this afternoon. First responders were called at about 1 o'clock to the area of South High Point Road near Bedrock Lane. The crash caused part of South High Point to be closed temporarily. One person was checked for injuries but was not taken to the hospital.
President Donald Trump is doubling down on tariffs after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled against him last week. Political reporter Ellie LaLiberte spoke to Wisconsin farmers today about how the president's reaction could impact them.
After the Supreme Court ruling that wiped out some of President Donald Trump's tariffs, he announced he'd be raising global tariffs to 15%. But what does that mean for Wisconsin farmers? Well, the answer I keep getting is uncertainty.
These are market cattle.
Mitch Giebel is a lifelong farmer.
1,500 pounds.
But he says right now, the industry he knows well is trying to find stability.
I think the uncertainty it scares anybody.
The reason behind that? Tariffs.
Personally, on our farm, and I think across the Midwest, it's affected a lot of the grains. I think there's good intentions in place, but it affects the global supply chain.
Trying to get back into that rebuilding mode right now.
Darren Van Ruden is the president of the Wisconsin Farmers Union and a dairy farmer himself.
For a bunch of the inputs that farmers have, like seed, fertilizer, equipment, parts, labor, anything that had aluminum and steel in it, those were all cost us more last year. So we really took a double whammy there, received less for the products that we produced, but also paid more for everything that we had to purchase.
But he says how bad that is depends on who you ask.
A lot of farmers on the Republican side are saying that, let's wait and see, we still got to ride this out yet. And where those that have voted Democrat in the past are, still really uneasy.
But as Giebel gets ready for the growing season, he says the main focus is stability.
So that we can better plan what our crop rotations are, what price points we may want to market our grains at, market our cattle at.
Reporting in Juneau County, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Ellie. The president raised these tariffs using a specific section of the Trade Act of 1974, which can only remain in effect for 150 days.
Lawmakers in the state assembly have passed a bill that would no longer allow soft drinks or candy using SNAP funds. It's under Assembly Bill 180, and it would require the Department of Health Services to seek any necessary waiver to prohibit the purchase of candy or soft drinks with food share benefits. Now, 18 other states have signed comparable policies into law, according to the USDA website. It claims the Trump administration is leading bold reform, it says, to strengthen integrity and restore nutritional value within SNAP, end quote. Republican Assembly Speaker Robin Vos says the bill is balanced. Opponents say this limits options for those living in poverty.
My views on it, I think you let them eat what they want to eat. I think you let people drink what they want to drink.
I want to make sure that if you don't have the ability to have food on your table, no child is hungry. Doesn't mean they have to have potato chips and soda.
This bill now on its way to the Senate for further consideration. It is not likely to be signed by Governor Evers if it does get to his desk.
Coming up next, time is running out to nominate your favorite person, place, and thing to do in Madison.
Plus, we're looking for a veteran who has gone above and beyond in their community, how you can nominate someone when we come back.
News 3 Now at 6, moving forward.
Nominations are officially open on channel3000.com for the Spirit of Service 2026.
News 3 Now and Vortex Optics are teaming up to recognize veterans who continue to serve their communities long after their time in uniform. The Spirit of Service Award honors local vets whose actions make a meaningful and positive impact in southern Wisconsin. The award is designated to spotlight individuals who embody leadership, generosity, and a commitment to giving back.
And that's what we love to highlight and honor and recognize. These people have given so much of their lives to service for our country. And like you said, that doesn't end. That's a part of who they are, and they come back and they're doing incredible work within their own communities. And we're just happy to honor that and recognize that.
You're encouraged to nominate a deserving veteran by sharing their story online at channel3000.com. These nominations will be accepted through March 22nd, so you got another month. Vortex will narrow down those nominations to a final 5, and we will share those stories, and then you have a chance to vote for your favorite. A winner will be selected and announced April 15th.
And you have just a few days left to nominate your favorite restaurants, businesses, and people for Madison Magazine's Best of Madison. Just head to channel3000.com and write in your nomination. In each category there, you can nominate once a day. The last day to nominate, end of the month, February 28th. Still ahead, a traffic warning for those who commute around the Capitol Square.
Plus, an update on the measles case at UW-Madison from Public Health Dane County.
And more snow is on the way, but how much? Blaze returns with his complete forecast.
Watching News 3 Now at 6. Moving forward.
We're taking a live look right now at the Beltline near Fish Hatchery Road, and the clouds are expected to move in tonight ahead of our latest wintry mix. Blaze now with a complete forecast and what we can expect.
That's right, Eric. We are looking at the return of a wintry mix as we head into our Tuesday. This is going to be one of 2 chances that we have over the next 7 to 10 days. We're looking at least through the end of the week, 2 chances. The one tomorrow and then possibly Wednesday night into Thursday. Beyond that, there's a few more chances, but that is well into the future. So let's focus on the more immediate chances. Starting Tuesday morning, we may squeeze out some flurries. I think a few can't be ruled out, but in terms of accumulating impactful snow, that's not going to be likely through at least your morning commute time frame. As we head into the afternoon, we'll briefly get a break before that rain-snow mix moves in as we head into the late morning, early afternoon through at least the early evening time frame. We're seeing the greens, the purples, and the blues here indicating that as temperatures climb into the upper 30s to low 40s tomorrow, we will at times see this change over from rain, or from snow rather, to a rain-snow mix. Not anticipating a lot in the way of accumulation, and this is primarily Tuesday into Wednesday going to impact more of northeastern Wisconsin. Wednesday night into Thursday, southwestern Wisconsin is going to be underneath that threat for primarily snow, since this is going to be overnight into early Thursday. This model in particular wants to bring this out of parts of Iowa. Most of our models have trended that further into Iowa, kind of staying there, clipping parts of Crawford, Grant, maybe extreme western parts of Richland, Iowa, as well as Lafayette counties. So when we look at snow totals, we're probably only going to make off with about an inch or so. This is even scaled back since the 5 o'clock hour. So I think this model is picking up what the other models are indicating, that more of that heavy snow is certainly going to fall across parts of Iowa. So this is Wednesday's chance. Again, if you're outside or to the east of Iowa and Lafayette counties, we're really not picking any snow up from Wednesday night into Thursday. This mess up here, this is Monday night through Tuesday. So if you're south and east or south and west, of say Columbia County, you're probably not going to pick up anything. So northeast Tuesday, southwest as we go Wednesday night into Thursday. We could desperately use some snow, at least in the Madison area. This is how much we've got. Only 0.6 inches of snow. We've had 3 snow days total this month. We usually pick up 13 or just shy of 13 inches of snow for a regular February. This is our 4th least snowiest February on record. But if you head to some of our counties north and west of Dane County, a completely different story. Snow is so important during these winter months, especially to hold and keep almost like a reservoir of necessary moisture for spring. So hopefully we won't be setting off on a bad foot as we go into spring with the ongoing drought conditions. I think this is a great horned owl. There are like little tiny ears right here. I think, thank you Cindy for sending us in this photo here. She said that the owl was hunting. Hopefully it caught something. If you have any weather photos, any nature photos, you can send them to this QR code right there. You can also send them on our website, or you can send them directly from the First Warn Weather app. So throughout the rest of this evening, we are going to become more cloudy. We are looking at those potential flurries to move in after midnight, but I would say most of that snow is really going to hold off until the afternoon hours on Tuesday. There's a look at the 7 and 10 day forecast. All that snow is really going to melt by Friday because we'll be back into the 50s, but it looks like that is the last time we'll be in the 50s through the rest of the extended forecast as we're looking at the start of March, which is crazy.
Just another week away or so. And that means severe weather season isn't too far behind, and your weather team is getting us ready for it.
That's right. Myself, Jacob, Savannah, and Alex, the First Warn Weather team has been working hard on an informative and exciting weather special. And as Eric mentioned, just in time for severe weather season, so we're calling it Severe Weather Ready. This special features how watches and warnings are issued by the National Weather Service, the latest research on southern Wisconsin's severe weather season, what goes into issuing alert days, and how the First Warn Weather team conducts severe weather drills. It airs Wednesday night at 6:30. I encourage you all to watch. We worked really hard on it, and of course we want to make sure that everybody is ready for severe weather season because it's right around the corner. But you know, in years past we've had tornadoes in February, so it can happen whenever.
All right, set your calendars, everyone.
Yes.
Or mark them, I should say. Thank you, Blaze. Well, now an update from UW-Madison on the measles case confirmed in a student earlier this month. All community exposure locations are now expired. The initial case reported on February 2nd involved a UW-Madison student. And meanwhile, a second case was reported February 14th. That exposure is not related to the first reported case, we're told. The individual stayed at a Holiday Inn Express at 5150 High Crossing Boulevard from 12:01 a.m. to noon. Now, health officials say they will reach out to people who have been exposed directly whenever individuals can be directly identified.
Construction has started back up on two streets around the Capitol Square. East Main and South Hancock are both closed for underground infrastructure work. East Main will be closed to through traffic between South Webster and South Franklin. South Hancock will be closed between East Wash and East Main. The South Hancock Street cul-de-sac will also be closed. The full project is expected to be wrapped up by June 25th. Andrew is here, and you know it was going to be the ultimate test for the Badger women's hockey team without all these stars on the other side of the globe.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, and now they've got them back. But even without them, Wisconsin women's hockey keeps on making history. What they did this time, next on News 3 Now.
And now, News 3 Now Sports, brought to you by TDS.
Losing their best 5 players to the Olympics wasn't a problem for Wisconsin women's hockey. Their self-proclaimed B team held their ground for the last month of the season, securing their second straight WCHA conference title and their 11th all-time. Next up for the Badgers is the WCHA tournament, where their Olympians will return this weekend. The top-seeded Wisconsin women's hockey team hosts Bemidji State in a best-of-3. And we'll have coverage of the women all the way. This week's guest on the Wisconsin Huddle is the Badgers' Ava Murphy. And next weekend, you can watch the WCHA tournament semifinals and final free and over the air on our sister station, Television Wisconsin. Well, first it was A.J. Storr, and then it was John Tonje, and this year it's Nick Boyd. In an ever-changing college basketball landscape, Greg Gard has mastered the art of picking the right players out of the portal. Yesterday, Wisconsin men's basketball beat Iowa, and Boyd came a rebound shy of a 27-point triple-double. Tune in to News 3 Now tomorrow to really get to know Nick Boyd in my sit-down with the Badger superstar. But for now, here's Greg Gard on what makes Nick tick.
He's fiercely competitive. You know, you see that. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He wants to win. He's emotional. He's vocal. And he's been part of winning. You know, he's played on very successful teams. So he understands what goes into it. And he's a worker. He's in the gym early. He's in the gym late. I'm not sure when he sleeps. I keep telling him, making sure he's getting enough rest. But he puts a lot of time into it, and he's extremely competitive.
That Let's play some baseball, because if you can this time of year, you do. You couldn't do it up here. Brewers in Arizona for spring training, still looking for their first win in the preseason, and this will help. Andrew Vaughn lifts his first long ball of the year, but it wouldn't help enough. The Padres take it 7-5. Looking ahead, however, the Crew are chasing a fourth straight NL Central title, not by using their checkbooks, but by buying in to Brewer baseball.
We know we're not going to go out and sign these big guys every offseason, right? We know we're not going to enter that free agency pool and start offering these guys money. But we also really take pride in drafting guys, our homegrown guys.
All right, Andrew, thank you. And coming up later tonight on News 3 Now at 10, members of a Wisconsin Rotary Club are stuck in Puerto Vallarta as ongoing cartel violence rages on in that area. We'll hear from members of that club on how they're doing. That's tonight at 10.
And the final check on our forecast, it's a chilly one, but also looking for some snow.
It is going to be chilly out there tonight, but we are looking at some snow tomorrow. Temperatures won't be cold. We'll be in the upper 30s to low 40s, which means that afternoon snow chance will gradually turn over to a rain-snow mix. Many of us picking up less than an inch after settling into the teens, and maybe a few low 20s tonight. 30s, low 30s Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday night into Thursday, another chance for snow before 50s to end the work week.
All right, Blaze, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up next is Entertainment Tonight.
At our next show, please join us again tonight at 10, and you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+.